Margaux Salcedo.
Hi, good evening, Seth. It's a pleasure to meet you finally. I've always been a fan of yours. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming.
And to give us her insights and analysis on former President Estrada's steady performance and surveys, we're also joined here in the studio by Dr. Grace Hamon of the University of the Philippines Political Science Department. Good evening, Professor. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, Ricky. Very proud to be here to lend my insights into this week.
All right, well,
Margaux's here.
Let's begin with this. It seems as if, as I said
Yes,
in the introduction, Loyal Filipino's numbers have largely stayed put. Perhaps they're going up a little bit, but not that much. Manny Villar's numbers have come down a little bit, but Joseph Estrada's numbers have come up. Is Manny Villar's loss actually Joseph Estrada's
I think the
gain
church is
rather than
concentrating.
Professor?
Yeah, it's possible. As we know, this only indicates, the surveys indicate that there is a solid following that we can see Erap has continually at this point.
What do you attribute that? I mean, look at what's happened to Erap over the last decade. From president, he's been convicted of plunder, he's been jailed, and then he's been pardoned, and now he's running again. And yet there seems to be an enduring base that will not leave him. And I'm talking about maybe that 18-20% that has always been with him. What is the reason for that appeal?
Yeah, as we know, just like maybe Manny Villar, who is as popular maybe with the masses, he continues to be the darling of the masses. As you said in your comment about the way he handled what happened to him this afternoon. He's a lovely person, charismatic, and just his era for the Mahirap, still resonates to this day, I think.
Now let me ask Margaux. The Liberal Party and the Nacionalista Party are throwing everything but the kitchen sink at each other. And while the Puwersa ng Masang Pilipino just is on the campaign trail, wooing votes, you're not tempted to get dragged in the exchange or to put in your 2 cents worth?
No, not at all, Seth, because one of the things that President Estrada always reminds us is that we really want to take this election to a higher level. We have to remember that he's a past president now, and he's not someone who can just throw cheap shots. And also another thing is that I think that the mudslinging between the two candidates, between Villar and Aquino, have actually been hurting their campaign instead of helping them. And so it's a reflection of maybe their inexperience. It's a reflection of their immaturity. And this is something that would actually help the Estrada campaign. So we kind of refrained from joining in that mudslinging. In fact, there have been some consultants who have told President Estrada to start attacking other candidates more. However, he himself has refused to do that, and he himself has stated that he does not want to attack them on that level. Instead, he just wants to present his platform to the people, and he wants to just remind them of the legacy that he left and his mission today to continue the legacy that he had started as president, which was stopped when he was ousted.
So you would say that that's helping you as well, that you're keeping out of the fray?
I think it may be one of the reasons why their numbers have dipped. One of the things that Filipino people look at, especially the masses, is the sincerity of the candidate. And while Villar has been saying that he is somebody who is pro-poor, I think that the attacks that they have made against other senatorial candidates have also kind of shown an insincerity.
Other teams are watching this now, for
it
sure.
shows that they're intent on winning this election come what may. So I think it's something that may benefit the Estrada campaign.
Dr. Hamon, would you share the same view?
Yes, I guess so. Even with, for example, the issue about campaign finance, we see that Erap has decided to keep within the limits of the law. And the fact that the expensive or the expenses that have been used up in terms of their campaign finance and all of this media war is definitely also hurting the two candidates. I think it's how would you call that?
It's going out of control.
Dr. Hamon, let me ask you this then. If you think that this word war is hurting the two candidates, and you see Erap's numbers going up a little bit, do you think really that Erap has a chance here? I mean, they have gone up, yes, but they still have stayed stubbornly below the 20-25% that Erap would have had back then. So, I mean, is there really, I mean, realistically, do you think Erap has a good chance of fighting this out?
I didn't quite hear that. There seems to be some technical problems
Yeah, can you hear me now?
in relation to your question.
Can you hear me now?
I can answer you.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure you can answer me, but I don't want you to answer me.
And my answer is yes, we think Erap's gonna make it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Margaux.
We believe there's a silent majority out there, and we believe that one of our strategies really is that for Erap to slowly gain ground. We did not want him to peak right away. In fact, at the time when President Estrada, there was one time when he hit number 1. And that was when all these, the bad press about him started coming out. So one is we think it's a blessing in disguise that he hasn't hit number 1 as yet. And secondly, it's also really his strategy not to peak too early, because he always says that if you hit number 1 right away, then there's nowhere to go but down. It's very difficult to maintain.
But Margaux, it's a month to go. I mean, if he's going to peak, I think it's about time he starts speaking, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, when he hit 19%, he has said that his strategy was to hit another 6%, and then maybe an 8% for the win. So that's what we're targeting right now. And he's been working extra hard. Another thing that I would like to contribute here is that today, aside from the strategy of former President Estrada of going around various towns through, well, in the past was Vice President Salamat, and today through the sorties, another thing that we have realized is that there is now the factor of the media warfare, which apparently the camp of Senator Villar has mastered. We noticed that in January, when President Villar's, just like in your screen earlier, when Manny Villar was having commercials at spending around 900 ads.
Right.
President Estrada only had around 10 ads for that month. So we increased the number of ads of President Estrada in February, and this had a direct effect, I think, which contributed to the 19% which he had in the following Pulse Asia survey. This March, however, we also decreased the number of media weights of President Estrada, and that was the reflection where he only maintained his Pulse Asia survey rating. However, of course, since we only have a month to go, we can expect that since President Estrada is still within the number of minutes that's allotted by the COMELEC, we'll also be increasing the media weights today, because the game today, aside from being popular and going around and really shaking hands with the people, another strategy is really to reach people through media.
All right, Dr. Hamon, are you back?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, this is what I was asking you, which Margaux kind of answered, but of course she's with the Estrada camp, so I want you to answer it. And it's this. Erap's numbers have been going up. The other two seem to be locked in a word war. One analyst has said this is a race. It's a 3-man race now. What do you think realistically are the chances of President Estrada of winning the election? Let's give it to him let's give him that this has been, and people have not realized it, a pretty disciplined, pretty well organized campaign. That hasn't been mentioned too much, but I saw it myself. I was in Leyte today, and I've been with the president on a number of sorties. Do you think that he really realistically has a chance?
Everything is possible in this country, you know. But I would say that it may be possible, not quite improbable, but it may be possible.
But what would he have to do to get those numbers moving up? I mean, if you were to advise him.
I think the strategy of doing it on ground level is very good. Because as far as, for example, the media war is concerned, I think too much exposure becomes counterproductive given all of this advocacy on campaign finance, for example. So I think given operative culture in the Philippines, it is important that people see you, people get to talk to you, shake hands with you. So maybe this strategy is good for him.
You would say that people would be willing to give him another chance, considering what happened during his
Haba ng
tenure,
segment na to,
two and a half years of his tenure.
Yeah. Are you asking me? Yes.
Yes,
Maybe, because whether we like it or not, the situation on the ground is that you have a lot of poor people, and poor people identify very much with Erap, whether you like it or not. And I think this we could see even during the El Shaddai rally. No, when it was Erap's turn, people were like you know, the same charisma, the same reception on Erap could be seen. You know, so it's not improbable.
Margaux.
Yes, I think what the doctor was saying is very true, because if you would remember for that El Shaddai rally, Senator Noynoy was there, Senator Villar was there, and President Estrada. And from a report by ABS-CBN itself, President Estrada was applauded 40 times by the people. And the shouts and the cheers from the crowd was just unbelievable. And it is this relationship that he has maintained with the people, which is, I think, what will deliver him to the presidency in this coming May. He also always says, I think one of the reasons also why the people are able to relate to him is that he also acknowledges that they have supported him all his life. Even during the toughest times, that it was the poor who has always been there for him. And he always emphasizes that in the twilight of his life, what he would like to do is to repay this debt of gratitude that he has to the Filipino people. And I think that that is something that the Filipino people will recognize, the Filipino masses will recognize. And this battle is as much for them as it is for him. So if he is able to win the presidency again, it would be a win, not just for Estrada, but for the Filipino people. And I think this is one big factor that will make him win the presidency this 2010.
And you don't fear the likelihood of disqualification by the Supreme Court? Is that something you're worried about in the horizon?
Well, right now, we are not worried about the disqualification from the Supreme Court anymore. First of all, because the COMELEC has already given a decision saying that the cases that were filed for his disqualification were baseless. And so we hope that the Supreme Court will just uphold this. And anyway, it was really baseless because, for example, one of them who filed was saying that President Estrada was a nuisance candidate because she was also an Estrada. So the cases that were filed against him were that silly.
All right. And Dr. Hamon? Some parting shots from you.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, the issue of the Supreme Court is looms in the horizon. But the good thing about this campaign about Erap is that, you know, he's giving it a good try. Miracles can happen that he may still win, although he is lagging far behind the two. The social capital that he was able to invest as far as the poor are concerned still remain to this day, as we could see in the campaigns. So it's a good education for our people to vote for whomever they like, you know, that is close to their heart, so they can exercise choice and voice at the same time.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Hamon from the UP Political Science Department and Margaux Salcedo from the PMP. Thank you and good night.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I have to say this.
Where does he get his stamina? It's amazing.